Take one.
What is up, JL Life? Modell here.
And Misty.
So today's episode, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be taking the stock Rubicon sliders and making them better. Yay. If you're not wanting to spend $500 to $800 on new rockers and not even exactly getting what you want on them, we're going to be going over how to putting on a rocker knocker to go up to help protect the rocker panels.
Good knockers.
So we're going to be bringing the pipe up to kind of help protect all of this area on the Jeep, just so when we're out rock crawling, it's going to help keep the body of the Jeep away from the rocks and other obstacles. Should be relatively easy and definitely a must before Moab. But y'all enjoy, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Hit the camera. No.
Boop.
Apparently we're booping now. All right, so here's the piping that we got. It's 1 1/4 inch thick, schedule 80 as far as thickness. I got two 10-foot cuts for length. What we're going to be doing, and of course Missy's missing her fenders, so we're going to be measuring from the front. Granted, if you have fenders and you want to keep fenders, you're probably going to be measuring from back here. Otherwise, you're going to have to design something different to be coming out further this way than up, or you're going to have to cut into your fender to get it to fit. But what we're going to be doing, we're going to be measuring from the front, welding it here. It's going to be going up. It's going to be going across. This is why these are needed. But we're going to cut it back down here. It's going to weld onto the stock slider. We're going to sand off all the powder coating from here. Dang, I mean, she uses these, no?
Oh no, my paint fell off.
I mean, we need to get that cleaned up soon.
Did you clean the lens? Mom.
Yes. But so anyways, that's the plan.
So we're gonna go for 74.
So 74 inches. Good thing the other side will be the same. But we're here at my buddy Jordan's house. He's going to be helping us with this install because he got all the tools that we need.
Unfortunately.
He's a good friend. If you're wondering why we went with Schedule 80 over DOM tubing, she's trying to stay out of the sun. DOM tubing's a hell of a lot more expensive than Schedule 80. So we went with the cheaper tubing because, again, this isn't long-term for her Jeep, just to help protect the rocker panels. But if you can afford the DOM tubing, do the DOM tubing. It's just a lot stronger. But
if you can afford the DOM tubing, you might just get brand new sliders.
That's true. But in case someone's wondering why you got Schedule 80 over DOM, that's why. It was just a lot cheaper of an alternative. But so the first step is to measure out your tube and to cut to length. Just remember to add additional length onto each end of the tube before you cut it, so you can accommodate for the bends going to the slider. Next step is to bend the tube. It is useful to have two sets of hands here, one to hold the pipe and to move it, the other one to, of course, to compress the hydraulic press to bend it. This is the Harbor Freight tube bender, which isn't the greatest bender, but if you take your time and you do your bends in increments, it makes for a better bend, and you can avoid the cobra neck bending of tubing. And of course, when you're bending the other side, make sure you're doing it at the same angle so you don't have your bends going two different directions. That can prove problematic. So after dry fitting the rocker knocker onto the slider panel, we eyeballed and we marked about where we wanted it to be cut, and we're cutting the excess off so we can start to grind the end of the tube to fit onto the slider. Well, as we were doing that, Misty pointed out to us that it's uneven on both sides, so we eventually went to using a ruler. Gotta say, I do like your hitch system. Works. It's called Portable Workbench. So far, it's looking great. There's really not much to this. So in further prep work, you're going to want to just grind off where you want to weld on the tube. Wire brush, power tool, easy peasy. So you have two different options. Do you want it to be more of a step or more of a slider? We want more of a slider because if it comes out more like a step and it gets hung up on a rock, that's more leverage on the slider to jam it up into the body of the Jeep. As if you make it more of a slider, that leverage is decreased and it's less likely to cause damage to the body if it does get hit on a rock. However, you don't get the convenience of a step. But what we do, we're not really into the steps, more so as rock crawler functionality. And we're angled the end of the tubes so the tube will be angled upwards to function as a boat slider. And so we put these tin sheets in between the body and the slider just so we can do the tack weld.
Other than like showering. You want it right here?
Good. Yeah.
Right behind me. Almost right on my head, right where I needed it.
So after tacking it on, we pulled the slider off so we can correctly weld it all. The better you do the angle, the less of a gap you get. This isn't too bad. Jordan's a really good welder. He's going to be able to fill it in easy peasy. So we threw it up on jack stands. As Jordan's welding, I'm holding it stiff and rotating it as needed so he can do his thing.
Hey, people say I don't weld.
Like I said, Jordan can lay dimes.
People say I don't weld pretty.
You guys saw how big those gaps were. He took his time and it turned out phenomenal. Phenomenal. It turned out great. So we moved to the other side of the same slider, welded that in. We pushed it back into place, bolted it back up. It took a lot of convincing because Misty's slider right now, I would compare to a Twizzler. Well, it took some muscling. I would definitely recommend doing this before you mess up your sliders. It just makes things easier to both prep and to work on. I could imagine welding a straight bar onto a twisted pipe. So guys, here's the first side all mocked up, all done. Man, it looks great. The amount of added protection we added to Misty's Jeep is just tenfold. We just need to get this painted. We're going to the other side. We're going to get that cut, get that put on, and it's going to be done. It's going to look great. We got burned.
Stupid things. Should have been wearing long sleeve.
It's not my fault. He dropped a pipe into my arm. That face screams innocence.
Should have been wearing long sleeves.
Shut up, you. So moving to the second side, there's literally nothing different except everything is just mirrored from the other side. I'm not going to bore you with all of that. Again, it went on great. It was a lot easier on this side, and I'm assuming the reason being is because the slider on driver wasn't all twisted like the one on passenger. So here it is, all finished. Check it out. Guys, it looks so good. Currently, it's spray painted black. I'm eventually going to raptor line it like we did with mine. It's just, I don't want to waste the material quite yet. This is really going to be beneficial. I mean, you can go online, find Rubicon takeoff sliders for like $100, $150. Go to the steel yard, buy about $40 worth of pipe. And if you or your friend have the tools to do it, it's done. Super cheap, super awesome, looks great. Again, I recommend you getting this done before you mess your sliders or your body up. Makes things easier. And of course, the Rubicon sliders aren't bad. They're just missing this, and it will help prevent this. But the good news is we're one step closer to being ready for Moab. And one thing I forgot to mention that's super important, make sure you can open your doors when you're mocking your sliders in. So here are my sliders on Bromance. There's subtle changes. I have the bracer bar in the center. We didn't do that to Misty's. I don't think it's going to be quite needed, but if we end up needing it, we can always add it. Of course, other changes between the two is I have an inch wide tube. Misty has 1.25 inches. And of course, hers is spray painted right now. Mine is Raptor lined. We will eventually Raptor line hers. We're just not quite there. You don't want to buy yourself expensive sliders. Great option. And you get what you want. I know there's a lot of cheaper rockers that drop your rockers like way down, and you're gonna get hung up. And this prevents it because it goes up high. If you guys remember watching Whale Life's video when he was trying to use those LOD sliders, and they didn't really protect his kicker panel, and he dented his kicker panel. Well, this should also help prevent that. But yes. So guys, I hope you enjoy. Are you mocking me? Are you mocking me? What is this? Hold on. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was really fun to install the rocker knockers onto
No, you're not doing it right.
I'm trying not to blink. I can't.
Okay.
Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I want to say thank you to my buddy Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan. We love you.
I love you, buddy. And the guy does some awesome welds. He's a hell of a lot better than me in welding, and he gonna improve my skills.
Yay.
But how do you feel about him?
I like him.
I like them a lot.
This is an easy to do DIY if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, this is something like I said, you can take this to a custom 4x4 shop, a fabrication shop, and just say, hey, I want a rocker knocker welded onto my factory Rubicon sliders. We're going to Raptor line hers eventually. We're just waiting for my bumpers to come in so we can do it all together so we don't have to waste material. And if you are wanting to do this, I recommend doing it before you warp the hell out of your sliders like she did.
It would be a lot easier.
It made things a little difficult. Things don't look very straight, but that's because
It's all messed up.
I compare her rocker sliders to Twizzlers. It's all twisted.
They're a little twisted and bent, and
She wheels hard, and I love
Yeah.
it, so I'm not going to give her a hard time.
that
But
waterfall.
waterfall.
It's waterfall.
But guys, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Links in the description below, as well as Facebook. Don't forget your JL Life merchandise, the Let's Do Stupid Things
Yes.
t-shirts. I need to go buy me some more. I love those shirts.
Subscribe,
Remember to like,
comment,
comment,
and
subscribe, and share. Pretty sure we might have doubled some of those.
yeah.
We're amateurs.
Eh.
Y'all, keep it easy till the next one. We're out. She's not taking it from me.